It was just another ordinary evening for Armin. He sat at his desk, scrolling through his favorite sci-fi forum on his laptop. The room was quiet, except for the hum of his old ceiling fan and the faint ticking of a wall clock. Outside, the city, lights flickered in the night, and somewhere far away, life continued as normal. Armin liked nights like this, peaceful, predictable, and utterly boring. Suddenly, a sharp flash of light filled the room. It was bright, almost blinding, and came from nowhere. Armin slammed his laptop shut and shielded his eyes. The air felt electric, buzzing with energy he had never felt before. His heart pounded. Then, with a soft pop that made him stumble backward, a figure appeared in the middle of his room. It was small, fragile-looking, and completely unlike anything he had ever seen. She had pale violet skin, large luminescent eyes, and long silver hair that seemed to float slightly in the air. Her limbs were thin, and she moved carefully, almost as if every step hurt. Armin blinked. Who? What are you? He stammered. The girl looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. I didn't mean to. I wasn't supposed to be here, she whispered, her voice melodic but trembling. She wore a tight-fitting suit that glowed faintly along the seams, and her legs were supported by strange, thin braces that helped her move. Armin's mind raced. Was this some kind of prank? A very realistic cosplay? But her eyes looked too real, too terrified to be fake. I'm Arman, he said cautiously. You just appeared in my room. How? I'm Princess Seraphine, she said quietly, almost shyly. I'm from another world. I was running away. Arman nearly choked on his own words. Wait, you're an alien? A princess? She nodded slowly. Yes, I was trying to escape from my planet, from people who wanted me to marry someone I cannot. She looked down at her legs, and Armin noticed her hands shaking. They don't care that I'm broken. Broken? Armin asked softly, stepping closer. She flinched, but didn't move away. I cannot walk properly without these, she said, gesturing to the braces. No one wants me because of this, not for marriage, not for anything. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Armin felt a strange mix of emotions. Confusion, yes, but also a deep urge to help. He didn't know why, but something about her fragile presence, her vulnerability, and yet her quiet dignity, pulled at him. Well, you're here now, he said gently. You don't have to explain everything right now. Let's just sit for a moment. You must be tired. Seraphine hesitated, then allowed him to guide her to a chair. She lowered herself slowly, her braces making soft clicking sounds as they adjusted. Armin grabbed a glass of water and handed it to her. She drank carefully, her glowing eyes scanning the room as if she were trying to understand everything at once. I don't know how I got here, she said finally, her voice trembling. My teleportation failed. I didn't mean to end up on your planet. Teleportation? Armin asked, now leaning against his desk, trying to process everything. You can teleport? Yes, but it's unstable when I'm hurt or scared. Her eyes filled with tears. I just wanted to escape, and now I'm here alone, and everyone back home. They say I'm weak, useless. Arman shook his head slowly. No, you're not useless. You're alive. You're here. And you made it. That's brave. Seraphine's lips trembled, and for the first time she smiled faintly. Brave? Yes, Armin said firmly. You've traveled across galaxies, escaping people who don't understand you. That's brave. She looked at him, eyes wide. No one ever says that. Well, Armin said, scratching the back of his head. Maybe because most people don't get it. But I get it. You're not alone anymore. Not tonight. She seemed to relax a little, her tense shoulders lowering. For the first time, she looked less like a scared alien and more like a person, someone who had a story, someone who mattered. You really mean that? She asked softly. I do, he replied. And I want to help you. But first, we need to figure out how to keep you safe. Seraphine's eyes widened again. Safe? From them? Yes, Armin said, feeling a surge of determination he hadn't known he had. Whoever was chasing you, whoever wanted to force you into something, we'll deal with them. You're not going back there until you want to. She nodded slowly, a mixture of relief and fear crossing her face. Thank you. I don't know how to repay you. Armin smiled gently. You don't have to repay me. Just stay alive, okay? Her gaze softened, and she looked at him with a hint of trust, something fragile and new. For a moment, the hum of the universe outside seemed to fade, leaving just the two of them in the quiet, dimly lit room. The next hours passed slowly. Armin helped Seraphine adjust to small things. How to sit comfortably, how to drink water without spilling, and even how to rest without straining herself. He asked her about her world, and she told him stories. Stories of tall crystalline towers, skies filled with two suns, forests that glowed at night, and oceans that reflected the stars. Her voice, though soft, painted vivid pictures, and Armin felt as if he could see the galaxies herself. I wish I could see Earth like this, she said finally, looking out the window. Your planet. It's small, but it feels safe. Armin chuckled softly. Small, yes. Safe, I hope. But if you stay, I'll make sure it's safe for you. They stayed like that for a long while. Armin found himself sharing little things about his life, like his favorite sci-fi stories, the weird taste of instant noodles he loved, and how he often felt invisible at school and work. Seraphine listened quietly, sometimes asking questions, sometimes just nodding. You humans, she said finally. You have strange ways of thinking. You value small things, but you see beauty in them. I like that. Armin felt a warmth spread across his chest. Thanks, I think. And you're strange too, but in a good way. For the first time, Seraphine laughed, a soft, musical sound that seemed almost unreal in the quiet room. Strange, in a good way? She repeated, a small smile tugging at her lips. Yes, Armin said, smiling back. That's how I mean it. The night grew deeper, and the hum of the city outside became quieter. Armin noticed Seraphine's eyes beginning to droop. She leaned slightly against him as he helped her lie down. Her braces clicked softly as they adjusted for her comfort. Tomorrow, she whispered, we figure out what to do next. Yes, Armin said softly. Tomorrow, we'll figure it out together. She closed her eyes, letting herself relax fully for the first time in a long time. And as Armin watched over her, he realized something strange, something he didn't expect. He didn't just want to help her survive. He wanted her to be happy, to be free, to be herself. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't mind being part of her strange, complicated story. Outside, the city slept. But in one small bedroom, a human and an alien princess began a friendship that neither galaxy could have predicted. The morning sun spilled gently through Armin's bedroom window, painting the walls in warm shades of gold. Armin stirred awake, careful not to wake Seraphine, who was still sleeping on the small futon he had set up for her. Her silver hair glimmered faintly in the sunlight, and her braces rested beside her, Quiet and still for the first time, Armin felt a mix of awe and responsibility. How had his life become so unusual overnight? Yesterday he had been just an ordinary guy, bored with his routine. Today he shared his home with an alien princess. He tiptoed to the kitchen to make breakfast. Instant noodles for himself and something more thoughtful for Seraphine. A plate of toast, fruits, and water. He wanted to do something simple to show he cared, to make her feel safe in a world that wasn't hers. When he returned to the room, Seraphine was awake, her large violet eyes blinking sleepily at the morning light. She smiled faintly at him. "Good morning, Armin," she said softly. "Good morning, Your Highness," he replied with a grin. He realized saying that made her smile a little more, even if it sounded silly. She laughed softly. "I like that. Makes me feel important." Armin handed her the plate. "Important, yes, but also just someone who matters. You're not a title here. You're just Seraphine." Her smile grew and she took the toast. "Seraphine," she repeated. "I like that. It feels free." Breakfast passed quietly. Seraphine ate slowly, observing everything around her. She was fascinated by the small things. The soft hum of the refrigerator, the way sunlight bounced off the glass, even Armin's messy desk covered with books and gadgets. "Your world. It's simple," she said. "But I can see beauty in it. It's alive." Armin chuckled. "Yeah, simple. But alive, yes. And maybe, just maybe, we can make it a little safer for you while you're here." Seraphine tilted her head. "Safer?" "Yes," he said seriously. "You don't belong here naturally. If anyone from your planet finds you, it could be dangerous." Her eyes widened. "They will come for me?" "I don't know," Armand admitted. "But I'm going to make sure they don't catch you. At least not while you're here." Her lips trembled, but she nodded. "Thank you. You really mean that?" "I do," he said. "And I mean it enough to do something about it." That afternoon, Armand decided it was time to learn more about Seraphine's world. He asked her to explain everything about her planet, her people, and why they were after her. She sat carefully on her futon, adjusting her braces, and began. "My planet is called Elizera. It's far from here, beyond the star systems. You know, we have cities of crystal, towers that touch the sky, forests that glow at night, and oceans. They reflect the stars like mirrors." Her eyes sparkled with wonder as she spoke. Armin listened, completely absorbed. "It sounds beautiful. But why did you run?" Seraphine's expression darkened. "I am the princess. My family wants me to marry a powerful suitor, someone who will help them keep control, but I cannot. He doesn't understand me, and I cannot walk without these." She gestured to her braces. "They see me as weak, useless, not fit for marriage or power." Armin frowned. That's terrible. People should never be judged by what they can't do physically. It's cruel." "It is our way," she said quietly, "and I could not change it, not alone." Armin felt a surge of determination. "Then you won't be alone anymore. I'll help you. We'll figure this out together." For a long moment, Seraphine just looked at him. Then slowly a small smile formed. "Together?" "Yes," he said. "Together." Over the next few days, Armin tried to help Seraphine adjust to life on Earth. He showed her simple things, how to move around indoors without worrying about her braces, how to use everyday appliances, and even the strange human ritual called ordering food online. Seraphine was fascinated, laughing softly at everything. "Your world isn't strange," she said one evening as they ate instant noodles together. "But it is comfortable. I like it." Armin smiled. Comfortable is good. You need that, especially now. But the peace did not last. One night, a strange hum filled the air outside Armand's apartment. Lights flickered briefly, and the room felt colder, heavier. Seraphine stiffened. They are close, she whispered. What? Who? Armand asked, alarmed. The royal enforcers. They seek me. If they find me, they will force me to return. Her voice shook. I cannot go back. Armand's mind raced. We need a plan, a safe place, somewhere they won't find you. Seraphine's eyes filled with fear. You would help me? Of course, he said firmly. You're not going anywhere without me. We'll hide you, we'll protect you, and we'll figure out how to keep you safe. She looked at him, unsure if she could trust a human, someone from a world so different from hers. But something in his eyes, something honest, brave and kind, made her feel hope she hadn't felt in years. Then, I will trust you, she said softly. Armin spent the night thinking. He realized he had to act quickly. He couldn't just wait for the enforcers to arrive. He needed a place to hide Seraphine, somewhere temporary but secure. His apartment wasn't enough. The next morning, he searched online, found abandoned warehouses on the outskirts of the city, and chose one with strong metal doors and a hidden back entrance. He packed essentials, food, water, blankets, and some gadgets he had tinkered with in his spare time. That evening, they made their move. Seraphine, carefully leaning on her braces, followed Armin as he led her through narrow alleys and quiet streets. The city around them felt strange and alive. Bright lights, honking cars, people rushing home. But Armin kept his focus on the path, knowing that even a small mistake could expose them. Finally, they arrived at the warehouse. It was empty, dusty and quiet, but it would do for now. Armin helped Seraphine inside, letting her settle on a makeshift bed. Here, he said. You're safe for tonight. Tomorrow we'll figure out a better plan. Seraphine looked around, her violet eyes wide. It is bare, she said, touching the cold metal walls. But I feel safe with you. Armin smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest he couldn't explain. Good. That's all that matters, for now. The next days passed in a strange rhythm. Armin helped Seraphine explore small parts of Earth secretly. Parks, libraries, quiet streets. She marveled at the diversity, the colors, the small, simple pleasures humans often overlooked. And he marveled at her intelligence, her curiosity, and her bravery despite everything she had endured. But danger was never far. Strange signals appeared on Armin's laptop, alien scanners tracking energy sources similar to Seraphine's. Sometimes, at night, they heard distant humming or faint lights flicker outside the warehouse. The royal enforcers were coming, no doubt. One night, Seraphine sat beside Armin, looking out the small window. I never thought I would feel at home anywhere, except my planet. But here, with you, I feel something new. Armin put a hand on hers. That's what humans do. We adapt, we care, and we fight for the people we care about. You are not alone anymore. Not while I'm here. Tears filled her eyes, but this time they were not just of fear. They were tears of relief. For the first time in her life, she felt someone truly understood her. Armin, thank you, she whispered, for everything, for being here. He smiled softly. No thanks needed. You're special, and no one should ever make you feel otherwise. The days that followed were tense. Armin taught Seraphine basic defense moves, ways to stay hidden, and even how to create small distractions. They laughed when things went wrong, like when she accidentally triggered a fire alarm at a convenience store or when Armin tried to explain how to ride a bicycle. Through it all, Seraphine began to see something remarkable about humans. How small acts of courage, kindness, and creativity could protect and change lives. And Armand began to see something equally remarkable. How someone from a galaxy far away could teach him bravery, loyalty, and hope in ways he had never imagined. The warehouse became their sanctuary, a place where worlds collided. The simple, familiar Earth and the distant, glittering world of Elisera, and within those walls a fragile trust grew into friendship. A bond that neither distance nor danger could easily break. But both of them knew one thing: the royal enforcers would not stop. And soon, the quiet days of exploration and laughter would collide with the harsh reality of a galaxy that wanted to take her back. Yet, for now, they had this: a moment of peace, a shared purpose, and the unspoken promise that neither would face the coming storm alone. The quiet in the warehouse was broken by the sudden chime of Armin's laptop. He jumped, startled, but Seraphine, sitting nearby, tilted her head curiously. "What is it?" she asked, her large violet eyes filled with interest. Armin opened the screen. A holographic message blinked, shimmering with alien symbols. Seraphine's eyes widened. They found me," she whispered. Her voice was calm, but her hands trembled. They challenged me to the contest, the suitor's test, to decide who I will marry." Armin blinked. "Contest? Marriage? You don't want to?" Seraphine shook her head. "I cannot. I do not love any of them, and they will not accept me as I am." Armin felt a surge of determination. "Then we'll do something about it. We can't change your culture overnight, but we can make sure you're safe, and that you choose who you want." Seraphine looked at him, unsure. "You think a human can help me?" "Yes," Armand said firmly. "Humans are strange and stubborn, and sometimes that is exactly what is needed." The message explained the rules. The suitor's test was a traditional competition held every century on Elisera. Competitors from across the galaxy would demonstrate skills in strength, intelligence, diplomacy, and courage. The winner would gain the right to marry the princess. Seraphine, due to her disability, was considered unfit by her culture, but the tradition allowed her to set one final challenge. She could decide the type of contest. Armin's eyes brightened. "Then we'll change the rules." Seraphine blinked. "Change the rules?" "Yes," Armin said. "Not with force, but with logic. You can make it about qualities that matter. Bravery, intelligence, creativity, kindness. Things your people don't usually see." Her eyes sparkled with hope. "You think they will accept that?" "I don't know," Armin admitted. "But we'll try. And if they don't, we'll find another way. But at least you will have a choice." The next days were spent preparing. Armin researched Elisera's customs, studied star maps, and even tinkered with small gadgets that might give them an advantage. Seraphine, despite her disability, trained her mind and body, using her knowledge of strategy, alien technology, and diplomacy. "You humans," she said one evening as they reviewed strategies, "you always find a way to adapt. I admire that." Armin smiled. "You adapt too. You've survived more than anyone could imagine. That's the real strength." Finally, the day of departure came. Armand and Seraphine stood before a shimmering portal, the gateway to Elisera. The air hummed with energy, and the city beyond glittered like crystals under twin suns. Seraphine's eyes widened. It is beautiful," she whispered. Armand took her hand. "And dangerous," he reminded her gently. "But we'll face it together." With a deep breath, they stepped through the portal. Elisera was everything Seraphine had described: crystal towers, glowing forests, and oceans reflecting the stars. But beneath the beauty lay tension. Suitors from countless worlds watched, their eyes sharp, their postures proud. They were all strong, skilled, and confident that Seraphine would never defy tradition. Armin felt a flicker of doubt. Could a human really compete in this alien world? But Seraphine squeezed his hand. Trust me, she whispered. You are more capable than you. No. Armin nodded. Then let's start this contest your way. The contest began, with a series of tests, each designed to measure qualities beyond mere strength. The first was a puzzle of logic and strategy, where the competitors had to solve complex patterns using alien symbols. Many struggled, but Armin quickly grasped the concepts, drawing on his human problem-solving skills. Seraphine guided him, pointing out clues the other suitors ignored. See? She said quietly. You think differently. That is your advantage. Armin smiled. Glad to hear humans have one advantage in a galaxy full of aliens. Next came a test of courage. Competitors had to navigate a dangerous canyon filled with shifting energy fields and unstable ground. Many faltered, but Armin, using simple tools and creative thinking, managed to cross safely. He helped Seraphine move across as well, using a small device he had built to stabilize her braces. You actually trust me? She asked, nervous. Of course, he said. I trust humans and you. Her lips curled into a small smile. Then I trust you too. The most important test was the final challenge. A debate and negotiation, where competitors had to resolve a simulated interstellar conflict. Aliens used advanced logic and formal language, assuming that strength and knowledge alone determined success. But Armin relied on something different: empathy, creativity, and understanding. He listened carefully, asked questions, and found solutions that respected all parties. Seraphine watched, amazed, as he turned what seemed like an impossible scenario into a peaceful resolution. The humans, she whispered. You are clever and compassionate. Armin shrugged. It's called common sense and a little heart. When the judges, a council of elders from Elysira, reviewed the results, it was clear. The strong, arrogant suitors had failed to see the value of empathy and collaboration. Armin and Seraphine's approach had not only solved the challenge but impressed the audience with a new perspective. After the contest, Seraphine addressed the assembly. Her voice was calm but commanding. I have seen many suitors, she said, all strong, all proud, but strength alone is not enough. Bravery, intelligence, creativity, and compassion, these matter more than power or perfection, and I have found them in someone unexpected. All eyes turned to Armin, a human standing nervously among towering aliens. Whispers spread. Could a human, so ordinary by their standards, truly be worthy? I choose him, Seraphine said, her gaze firm. Not because of power or tradition, but because of his heart, because he sees me for who I am, and because he will stand with me, not above me. The council murmured, some shocked, some skeptical. But Seraphine's words carried authority, and slowly they accepted her choice. Later, as the crowds dispersed, Seraphine and Armin walked together through the glowing forests of Elysira. The twin suns set, painting the skies in orange and violet. You actually did it, she said softly. You changed things here. Without even trying to be a hero, Armin shrugged. Sometimes, the simplest ideas are the best, and sometimes, you just need to be human. Seraphine laughed softly, a sound that shimmered like music among the trees. You, humans, are strange, but I like that. Very much, Armin smiled. And you, aliens, are strange too, but somehow I like that too. For the first time in her life, Seraphine felt free, not bound by tradition, not limited by expectation. She had a choice, a voice, and someone who cared for her for who she truly was. And Armin realized something too. Humans could not only survive in a galaxy full of aliens, they could thrive if they used their hearts, minds, and courage. The sun set completely, and the night filled with the glow of Elysira's forests. Together, they stood, looking at the stars reflected in alien oceans. Worlds collided, cultures intertwined, and two very different beings found understanding, friendship, and the quiet thrill of possibility. But deep in the shadows of Elizera, distant eyes watched. Not all were pleased by the princess's choice. Not all would accept a human in her place. Danger, it seemed, was never far behind. The glow of Elizera's twin suns faded slowly behind the crystal towers, casting long, shimmering shadows over the city. Armin and Seraphine walked through the streets, marveling at the alien beauty around them. Yet, beneath the awe, tension thrummed in the air. Though the suitor's test had ended, not all had accepted Seraphine's choice. "Armin," Seraphine said quietly, her violet eyes scanning the streets, "there are some who do not agree with my decision. They may try to take me back, or worse." Armin's jaw tightened. "Then we need to be ready. No one will touch you while I'm here." She hesitated. "I worry for you. You are human. Your world is different. My people, they are strong. Some dangerous." "I'll manage," he said with a grin, though his stomach churned with nerves. "Humans have survived worse. And besides, you're worth it." Her lips curved into a small smile, but the shadow of worry lingered. That night, while Elizera's city slept under the glow of twin moons, danger struck. Shadows moved. Along the edges of the crystal streets, tall, armored figures sent by rival suitors and disapproving nobles. They were fast, silent, and clearly trained for confrontation. Armin noticed first. A faint ripple in the air, a shimmer in the light, and instinctively, he pulled Seraphine close. "We're not alone," he whispered. Seraphine stiffened. "They are here?" "Yes," he said, his mind racing. "But we can outsmart them." Using small gadgets he had brought from Earth, Armin activated a few devices, flares and holographic projectors that created illusions of multiple humans in the shadows. The attackers paused, confused by the sudden presence of dozens of figures where there was only one. "Humans," Seraphine whispered, her eyes wide. "You really are clever," Armin smirked. "It's called improvisation, and a bit of luck." The attackers regrouped, more cautious this time. Armin and Seraphine ducked into a narrow alley, the glow from the towers above reflecting on their path. They needed to reach a safer location, a high vantage point where they could see the city and plan their next move. They arrived at the top of one of Elizera's tallest towers. From here, the city stretched endlessly, a shimmering sea of crystal and light. Seraphine leaned against the railing, breathing heavily. "I thought I was safe after the contest," she said quietly. "But danger, it never ends." Armin nodded. "Life rarely stays easy, but you're stronger than you think, and together we can face it." She looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting both fear and admiration. "You risked so much for me, a human from another world. I care about you," he said simply. "That's all that matters." Her lips trembled and she smiled faintly. "Then, I trust you. Completely." The following days were a whirlwind of tension and preparation. Armin taught Seraphine more strategies, using both her knowledge of Elizera and his human ingenuity. They set traps, created false trails, and learned to move silently through the glowing forests surrounding the city. "You humans," Seraphine said one evening as they practiced, "you are strange. You can survive in impossible situations, and you make the impossible seem possible." Armin chuckled. "That's because humans don't give up easily. And when we care about someone, we'll do anything to protect them." Seraphine's smile was soft but genuine. "Then, I am grateful More than words can say, but not everyone was fooled. One night, while they rested in a hidden alcove beneath a crystal archway, a group of enforcers cornered them. They were heavily armored, and their weapons hummed with energy. Seraphine's breath caught. Arman, they are too many, she whispered. I know, he said calmly. But quantity doesn't always win. We just need strategy. He activated a small device, creating a dazzling light that reflected off the crystal structures, temporarily blinding their attackers. Using this distraction, Arman guided Seraphine through a narrow passage only she could navigate due to her small size. He followed closely, dodging energy blasts and leaping over obstacles. Her braces clicked softly as they moved, and Arman helped her over a low barrier. Almost there, he whispered. Keep going. The enforcers, blinded and confused, struggled to keep up. Arman used another gadget, a small drone that emitted sonic pulses to disorient them further. One by one, the attackers fell behind, unable to anticipate the humans' creative tactics. Finally, they reached a hidden rooftop garden, safe for the moment. Both were breathing heavily, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Seraphine turned. To him, her eyes wide. You saved me. Again, she said, awe in her voice. Arman shrugged, trying to hide his own fatigue. Just using my human tricks. And a little luck. Her laugh was soft, musical, a sound that lifted the weight of fear in the air. You are remarkable, truly. The next days were quieter, but the tension never left. Arman and Seraphine moved carefully through Elysera, meeting allies who respected Seraphine's choice and avoided enemies who still questioned it. Every corner, every shadow carried potential danger, but it also carried opportunity. One evening, while resting in a small forest clearing, Seraphine spoke quietly. Arman, I have never felt this way before. Someone who sees me, not as a princess, not as disabled, but as me, truly me. Arman looked at her, heart pounding. I see you, Seraphine. Not for what you can or cannot do, not for your title, but for who you are. And I wouldn't change that for anything. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. Then I feel safe with you. And more than that, I feel hope. Hope that one day, my people may understand what truly matters. Arman smiled softly. They will, and if they don't, we'll make them understand. Together. Their bond grew stronger each day. Seraphine began to teach Arman about her people, their technology, and her strategies for leadership. In turn, Arman showed her human ways of thinking, improvisation, empathy, and creative problem-solving. They laughed often, sometimes at small mistakes, sometimes at the absurdity of a human trying to ride an alien hoverboard. You humans, Seraphine said one night, you are strange, but in a good way. Clever, unpredictable, brave, and kind. Arman grinned. That's what humans do, and you're teaching me about bravery too. You've survived more than most, and yet you smile, you hope, you fight. Her lips curled into a faint smile. Then we learn from each other. But danger always lingered. A week after the contest, an ambush occurred near the outskirts of Elysera. A group of disapproving nobles, furious at the princess's choice, attempted to capture Seraphine using energy nets and swift, trained guards. Arman and Seraphine were ready. Using the combination of human tactics and Seraphine's intimate knowledge of her world, they evaded the ambush. Arman deployed small gadgets he had crafted, mirrors to reflect laser beams, smoke bombs that produced harmless but blinding vapor, and even small decoy drones to mislead pursuers. Seraphine, for her part, guided him with precision. Left, Now, duck under that arch, she commanded. Despite her disability, her knowledge of terrain and timing gave them an edge. Finally, they reached the safety of a hidden glade. Both were exhausted, but alive. Seraphine turned to Arman, awe shining in her eyes. You saved me. Again. I do not know how to repay you. Arman shook his head. You don't need to repay me. You're alive. You're safe. And you've shown me that humans can do extraordinary things when they care. Her smile was soft, genuine. Then I will remember this, always. As the twin moons rose over Elisera, Arman and Seraphine stood together, gazing at the glowing city below. They had faced danger, outsmarted enemies, and grown stronger as a team. And though threats remained, they both knew one truth. Together they could face anything. Arman, Seraphine whispered. Thank you for being my courage when I could not be. He took her hand gently. And thank you for teaching me that courage isn't just strength or skill, it's heart. It's standing up for what matters, even against the impossible. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to pause, holding its breath. Two very different beings, human and alien, stood together against the odds. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. Only trust, courage, and the unspoken promise of facing the future together. The city of Elisera shimmered under the twin suns, crystal towers glowing like jewels against the morning sky. After days of danger, evasion, and strategy, Arman and Seraphine stood at the heart of the royal plaza. Today was the day of the final judgment, the day the Council of Elders would formally recognize Seraphine's choice. The plaza was filled with spectators, aliens of every shape, color, and size, nobles with sharp eyes and proud postures, and rival suitors whose arrogance had been bruised by Seraphine's defiance. Whispers spread through the crowd. Could a human so ordinary in their eyes truly be worthy of a princess? Seraphine held Arman's hand tightly. Her violet eyes were steady, full of determination. Arman, thank you for standing with me, for everything. Arman smiled softly. Always. And today, we make them understand what truly matters. The council convened in a crystal hall, its walls reflecting the light of Elisera's suns. Elders with long, flowing robes and eyes like polished gems examined the crowd carefully. Seraphine stepped forward, her voice calm and commanding. I have made my choice, she said, her words clear and unwavering. It is not based on power, wealth, or status. It is based on courage, intelligence, empathy, and integrity. And I have found these qualities in someone unexpected, a human named Arman, the council murmured. Some faces showed shock, others disbelief. Human? One elder asked, their voice echoing. Do you mean to claim this being, unfamiliar to our culture, has the merit to be your consort? Yes, Seraphine replied firmly. He has risked everything to protect me, to help me, and to understand me. He has shown bravery in ways our tradition has never valued. And he has proven that the strength of character matters more than the strength of body. Arman stepped forward nervously, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes on him. He was small, ordinary in appearance, and completely out of place. But he remembered Seraphine's trust, the danger they had faced together, and the bond they had built. I may be human, he said, his voice steady despite the tension. But I've learned that courage, loyalty, and empathy are universal. I don't have super strength or alien powers, but I care. I see Seraphine for who she truly is. And that is enough. The crowd went silent. A few of the rival suitors snorted in disbelief, but Seraphine held their gaze. It is enough, she said. Enough for me, and it should be enough for Elisera. The council deliberated. Minutes felt like hours. Arman stood beside Seraphine, silently confident that their bond, their actions, and their courage would speak louder than tradition. Finally, one elder rose. It is unusual, they admitted, their gem-like eyes flicking toward Armin. A human from another world, defying custom. But we have witnessed your courage, your ingenuity, and the truth of your words. Perhaps it is time for Elizera to value qualities beyond physical perfection and status. Another elder nodded. Seraphine's choice reflects not only her wisdom, but the need for change. We accept this union. The plaza erupted in murmurs. Some skeptical, some amazed. Seraphine turned to Armand, her smile radiant. We did it, she whispered. Yes, he said softly. We did. But the moment of relief was fleeting. Among the crowd, a group of disapproving nobles moved forward. Anger in their eyes, they had not accepted the decision. Their leader, a tall armored alien with sharp green eyes, stepped toward the pair. You dare defy tradition? He demanded. You will not make a human your prince. This is unacceptable. Armand stepped in front of Seraphine. I don't think you understand, he said calmly. This isn't about power, it's about right. And I'm not leaving her side. The noble laughed, a cold, harsh sound. You cannot stop us. Armand smiled faintly. Watch me. The confrontation escalated. The nobles summoned guards and energy weapons, but Armand and Seraphine had prepared. Using strategies and gadgets they had developed together, they created barriers, distractions, and illusions. Armand's human creativity clashed with Elizera's advanced technology in a way that left the nobles confused and off-balance. Seraphine guided him, using her knowledge of the terrain and her people's systems. Left. Use the reflection from the tower, she shouted. Armand adjusted a small mirror device reflecting the sunlight into the eyes of the advancing guards. They stumbled, blinded, while Armand and Seraphine moved quickly to a higher platform. You humans, Seraphine whispered. You really are clever. I told you, Armand said with a grin. Creativity beats brute strength, and heart beats arrogance. The nobles were finally forced to retreat, realizing they could not outsmart the pair. The council, impressed and relieved, acknowledged Armand's role in protecting Seraphine and the city. A new understanding spread across Elizera. Courage, intelligence, and empathy could no longer be ignored. Seraphine turned to the council. Let this day mark a new rule, she announced. Elizera shall value merit over appearance, character over tradition. Strength is not only physical. Wisdom, bravery, and heart matter equally. And those who refuse to adapt will be left behind. The elders nodded slowly, some reluctant, some inspired. The princess's words echoed through the plaza, setting a new course for Elizera. Later, in the quiet of the royal gardens, Armand and Seraphine walked together. The twin suns had set, and the crystal towers reflected the soft glow of moonlight. You really changed your world, Armand said softly. Amazed, Seraphine smiled. We changed it together. Your human ways, your courage, they mattered more than I imagined. I am grateful. More than words can say. Armand shook his head. No thanks needed. You trusted me. That was enough. Her eyes glistened. And I choose to trust you. Always. He took her hand, gently. Then I will always stand by you. Earth, Elizera, whatever comes next. We face it together. In the days that followed, Elizera began to change. Nobles who had resisted learned to respect the value of character. Children grew up hearing stories of the human who had stood by the princess, teaching lessons of courage, loyalty, and empathy. And Seraphine, once seen as weak and unfit, became a symbol of hope and progress. Armand explored Elizera with curiosity and wonder. He marveled at alien technology, rode floating platforms, and laughed with Seraphine as they discovered small, simple joys in her world. You humans, Seraphine said one evening as they watched the twin moons rise. You are strange but wonderful. You make life brighter even in the darkest moments. Armin smiled. And you make me believe that courage, heart, and trust can change even a galaxy. You're incredible. For a moment, the universe felt still, holding its breath. 2. Beings from different worlds, different lives, and different challenges stood together, their bond unbroken. And in that moment, they understood something simple yet profound. Humans could not only survive among the stars, they could inspire, protect, and change entire worlds. And love, trust, and courage were universal, bridging galaxies and cultures, alike. As Elisara's city glittered beneath the night sky, Armin and Seraphine sat together, holding hands. The future was uncertain, yes, but for the first time in a long while, both felt something they had never truly known. Peace, freedom, and the quiet, radiant joy of being with someone who truly saw them.